What's up guys, welcome to the GC journey. In this video we're going to continue preparing the GC for the dyno. So we have a few things to do in this video. I'm going to disassemble a few parts, send them off to powder coating. We're going to do the battery trunk relocation and we'll see what other jobs we can knock off in this video. Might do the boost controller, I don't know, we shall see. Before we begin, I would just like to say thank you. Last video was the first drive and some of you commented that the catch cans venting out to atmosphere are probably the source of the burnt oil smell entering the cabin. So thank you for your comments. I'm always happy to learn from other people's experience. And so catch cans recirculating into the intake is now also on the list. So thank you for that. So let's get to it. Right, so parts have been sent off to powder coating. While we're waiting for them, I will do some heat management in the engine bay. So I got this header wrap for the headers. This is from ProSport, I believe. And I also got a PTP turbo blanket for the turbo. Also, NZ Uncovered commented on one of my videos that I should swap out the header gaskets. The perforated ones aren't recommended. It's just what was laying around, that's why I put them on, but I have some multi-layer steel gaskets, so I will use them while I'm at it. So let's get to it. Okay, so first of all, I grossly underestimated the length required for the entire headers, so I'm missing a lot of material. Second thing is I can't seem to tighten the bands, the clips, the whatever you want to call them. Even when I try tighten it with a set of pliers and screwdriver, it seems to back out again, and so it's like loosely on there. Maybe it's supposed to be like that. It doesn't seem right. So if you have any experience with this, let me know in the comments if it's supposed to be like that or if it's supposed to be tight that you can't move it. In any case, I'm going to call this an epic fail for me on YouTube. So I'm glad you all got to see that. Headers are going back on, unwrapped. I apologize for that. I will put the new gaskets in and we'll move on to the turbo blanket. So turbo blanket is on, looks okay, hope it'll last. Headers are back on with the correct multi-layer steel gaskets. While the car was up in the air, I went over some bolts to make sure they were tight and found a few loose ones. So I think that might have been the source of all the rattling I heard when I was complaining about the clutch. It might have not have been the clutch, probably a few loose bolts that needed tightening. Parts are now back from powder coating because we're 2 days into the future, don't tell anyone. They look good, so I'll throw them back on and we'll continue from there. So moving on to the battery trunk relocation. This is something I have never done before, and I think for any person doing something for the first time, he should really consult a professional, which is what I'm going to do now. And so I have my friend here, Yotam from Tuning Power by Wire, and there are a few questions I wanted to ask you before we go on to doing the work itself. First of all, why would one want to do a battery trunk relocation in the first place?
First of all, I guess the first reason is to clear some extra space in the engine bay compartment, maybe to add some other parts, other components. Another thing that you should consider is a better weight distribution, and also to make a cleaner, tidier engine bay.
Which is what I'm after, so
yeah, sure.
Good for us. Another question is, what considerations should be taken when going to do a job like this?
First of all, we must have a good way to anchor the battery. Also to have a good set of cabling, purchase a new set of battery terminals, because the one that are in the front of the car might not be as good and maybe as versatile as we want them to be.
Okay, so the last question I have on my mind is, because obviously if I'd be doing this on my own, I'd be making some mistakes. Where do most people get this wrong when they do this job on their own?
Not having the correct tools to crimp those cables.
Okay.
and mostly grounding. A good grounding point is very important to the engine and also to the battery where we are going to put it. Using a bolt through the chassis, or maybe using a welded point, a welded threaded bolt where you have it on the chassis.
So, those are the questions I had. If you have any questions regarding battery trunk relocation, then you can write them in the comments, and I'll ask your Tom later, and I'll answer you as if it's me giving the answers. Anyway, we'll now go to the trunk, look for a place to locate the battery and the battery tray, and we'll move on from there. So, battery trunk relocation has been done. We've made quite a lot of progress this episode. Also, off camera, we did the oil pressure sensor and the boost controller. So theoretically, if we wanted to, we could go to the dyno this week, next week. There's nothing really preventing us from going to the dyno, but there are two things I would like to do before that. One is the blow-off valve. Now, in order for me to put the teal blow-off valve, I'll have to do the carbon fiber bonnet, which needs a cutting so it clears the blow-off valve. Second thing, it's not a must. I'd like to do the fuse box delete. I don't want it in the engine bay and all those wires and connectors and factory. Anyway, I'm guessing next episode we'll do the carbon fiber bonnet, we'll do the teal blow-off valve, and then we can go to the dyno finally. If you're into wiring and tuning and concentric twisted engine bay harnesses, you should check out your Tom's Instagram. I'll leave a link in the description. That's all for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.